Ever get that feeling, like something's just not quite right? Like you're being watched, but you can't quite put your finger on why.
Oh, I know that feeling.
Well, that's the vibe on the Enterprise today as we take a deep dive into Star Trek. The Next Generation's Lonely Among Us,
Ah, yes.
where that feeling of unease, of something being off, quickly escalates into a full-blown mystery.
And what better setting for a good mystery than the Starship Enterprise?
Right, especially with the added tension of interstellar diplomacy.
Because the Enterprise is playing host to not one, but two delegations vying for Federation membership. The Anticans and the Selay.
And let's just say, these two have a history.
Yeah, history might be putting it mildly. These two are practically at each other's throats, which creates a whole other level of stress for Picard and the crew to deal with. Absolutely. Yeah. But as if that wasn't enough, things start to get really strange, really fast.
We're talking system malfunctions.
Unexplained energy readings.
And then tragedy strikes.
Assistant Chief Engineer Singh.
Found dead under mysterious circumstances.
It's a classic locked room mystery setup.
It really is, with a limited pool of suspects, no less. You've got the crew, the Anticans, the Selay. Anyone could be responsible.
And that's before we even factor in the strange energy cloud the Enterprise encountered earlier.
Oh, right, because shortly after that encounter, Picard starts acting, well, not quite himself.
To put it mildly.
Right. Issuing strange orders, behaving erratically.
Because if something's gotten under his skin, influencing his thoughts, his actions.
And it's not just him. Data, Worf, Crusher, they all start experiencing these bizarre memory lapses, these gaps in their recollection.
It's like someone or something is toying with their minds.
Stealing moments, leaving behind this unsettling feeling that something is deeply, deeply wrong.
And even Data, with his usual Sherlock Holmesian deductions, can't seem to crack the case.
Which makes you wonder, what could possibly rattle the Enterprise this much?
What could shake the usually unshakable Data?
What could lead Picard, the epitome of logic and reason, to act so out of character?
It's a question that will keep you on the edge of your seat.
And just when you think it can't get any weirder, Picard calls the entire bridge crew together for a little announcement.
Oh, this is the good part, isn't it?
It is. He drops a bombshell.
Yeah.
He's merged with an energy-based life form from that cloud.
Picard. Merged.
Claims it's not hostile, even says it shares his thirst for knowledge.
Okay.
But I don't know about you. I'm not sure I'd be so quick to trust something that can just, merge with your mind.
I mean, it's one thing to encounter strange new life.
Right.
But to have your very being, your essence, intertwined with something utterly alien.
Yeah.
It's a chilling thought.
It really is. And it gets worse because this entity doesn't just hijack Picard's mind. No, it starts jumping from person to computer, spreading its influence across the Enterprise.
Like some kind of virus.
Exactly. This isn't just a physical threat anymore, it's something much deeper. The violation of something fundamental to what makes us human.
I can see why this episode would get under people's skin.
Right.
That fear of losing control, of something else taking the reins.
It's primal, and honestly, it makes you think about technology in a whole new light.
It does raise some interesting questions about artificial intelligence.
Right.
About the potential for our creations to turn on us, to surpass us in ways we can't even comprehend.
And this entity, this intelligence, as Picard calls it, it doesn't play by the rules. It exists outside our normal understanding of, everything. The lines between organic and inorganic, self and other, it's all blurred.
And if that wasn't enough, think about poor Troy.
Oh, I know.
She's usually so empathetic.
Right.
But she can't get a read on Picard at all. It's like this entity is creating static, shielding itself from her telepathic abilities.
Which I've got to hand it to the writers. That's a brilliant touch.
Oh, absolutely.
Because now even Troy, with her heightened senses, is left grasping at straws, adds this whole other layer of suspense.
And let's not forget the pressure on the rest of the crew.
Oh, right. Talk about a no-win situation.
Do they trust their captain, the captain they know and respect?
Right.
Or do they face the possibility that he might be compromised? That he might be a danger to the ship, to the mission?
It's classic Star Trek. Loyalty versus duty. The needs of the many versus the needs of the few.
And it's so much more complicated here, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely, because this isn't just about following orders. This is Picard, their friend, their mentor.
Exactly. And to defy him would go against everything they've been taught, everything they believe in.
And yet, Defy him they must, because Picard, under the influence of this entity, becomes obsessed with returning to that energy cloud. Even tries to relieve Riker of duty.
You can practically hear the alarm bells going off.
It's like watching a car crash in slow motion.
Knowing that something terrible is about to happen.
And you're right there with Riker.
Right there.
Forced to make an impossible choice. Follow orders and potentially doom the ship.
Or
disobey a direct order from the one person he trusts most in the universe.
talk about a rock in a hard place.
You know, for all the sci-fi, all the alien encounters, the real heart of this episode is that conflict, that very human struggle of facing the unknown.
It is, isn't it?
What lengths will we go to protect the ones we care about, even if it means going against everything we thought we knew?
It's a question that resonates even more today, I think.
So Picard beams himself into that energy cloud, just like that, gone. And the Enterprise is left reeling, trying to figure out what to do.
It's a tough spot. I mean, how do you even begin to bring someone back from that?
Exactly. It's not like you can just, I don't know, hail a shuttle or something.
It's uncharted territory, really.
Totally. But leave it to Data to come up with something. He's always thinking a few steps ahead.
What does he have up his sleeve?
Well, he remembers that the transporter logs everyone's energy signature whenever they beam anywhere.
The transporter logs, of course.
Right. So they have this log of Picard's energy pattern, but how do you even catch an energy being? It's not like you can just trap it in, I don't know, a containment field or something.
It's a tricky situation, ethically speaking, too. They can't force Picard back. He has to choose to return.
Oh, that's a good point. And he's had this taste, this glimpse of this incredible, maybe even infinite source of knowledge out there.
That's got to be tempting.
Right.
To let go of the physical, the limitations of the human form, and just exist as pure consciousness, pure information.
Yeah, that's got to be a hard sell, convincing him to come back.
And that's where Troy comes in. She's the only one who can sense Picard's struggle out there in that sea of energy, that maelstrom of information.
Oh, I see. So it's Troy's empathy that becomes the key.
In a way, yes. She senses his longing for connection, for understanding, and she uses that to reach out to him.
So they use the transporter log, like a beacon, to guide Picard's energy form back to the ship, and Troy's empathy is the, tractor beam or something.
That's one way to put it.
But even then, I mean, beaming back a consciousness, that can't be easy, right?
It's a delicate operation, to say the least. It's like putting Humpty Dumpty back together again. Only Humpty Dumpty is a brilliant Starfleet captain who's just had his mind scrambled by an alien entity.
So Picard materializes back on the transporter pad. He's not quite himself. He's disoriented, confused, like he's piecing together fragments of a shattered reflection.
The episode really leaves you with this lingering question, doesn't it? Is this truly Picard? Or has some part of him been irrevocably altered by the experience?
That's what I love about Lonely Among Us. It doesn't give you any easy answers, you know? It makes you confront the unknown, grapple with the idea that some things, some experiences, they change us.
We started this deep dive talking about the feeling of something being off, but those nagging suspicions that something isn't quite right.
And Lonely Among Us takes that feeling and amplifies it, showing us that sometimes the pursuit of knowledge, the desire to understand, can lead us to places we never expected, force us to confront parts of ourselves we never knew existed.
It's a reminder that the universe is full of wonders, yes, but also mysteries. And sometimes the most profound discoveries are the ones we make about ourselves, about the very nature of what it means to be human.